This one is Canadian historical fiction, and it's a debut novel. This is In the Upper Country by Kai Thomas. Set in Canada in the 1800s, in a fictional small town called Dunmore. This is a place at the end of the Underground Railroad where freed or escaped slaves have made a home and give safe harbor. Linsinder is a journalist for the local paper who is tasked with interviewing a woman who refused to flee after shooting a white man who was a slave hunter, and she's now in prison. The paper is hoping the paper is hoping to use the woman's story to change public opinion and legislation, but the woman will only tell her story in exchange for stories from Linsinder. So this book starts in first person from Linsinder's perspective, but later when the prisoner starts to talk, it slips into her being the first person speaker sometimes. The women also share stories with each other, and these are sometimes in first person from the main character of those stories, and sometimes in third person. And this isn't often clearly marked, so you do need to pay attention. And I think it's a bit of a confusing choice from the author, especially since sometimes when a story within the story is written in the third person, the main character in that story sometimes turns out to also be the person narrating the story as well. So the book takes a little while to get going. I found it a little bit hard to get into as well. I kept getting really easily distracted and having to make myself focus. The characters felt a little bit cold and flat sometimes, and I forgot who was who when they were too similar and didn't have a unique voice. The book got a little bit more dramatic and picked up the pace a little bit in the last third, where some parts felt more well written and as though the author was enjoying writing them a bit more than other parts. And that kind of led to the book as a whole feeling kind of uneven. This is a debut novel and one that really wants to take a lot on for a first book, with historical details, a complex cast of character relationships, and big themes like war, racial relations, family saga, as well as a plot that moves backwards and forwards on a narrative timeline. So it's quite bold, really. And on the whole, it's not like totally unsuccessful. I think I just wanted a little bit more from a story like this. I want to know all about the town of Dunmore and the people who live there and what their stories are. These people have all made it to like the Ithaca at the end of their odyssey, so to speak. And to me, that's fascinating. What does life look like after that? And how do they agree to govern or manage things in that town? How much does their past define them? And we don't really get to find out. And for a place that welcomes runaways, the author mentions bickering and jealousy like quite a lot. The book brings up a few times that a lot of people who made it to the end of the Underground Railroad went back. And I really want to know more about that, but the book just doesn't go there. The author also presents the idea that the indigenous people were allied with the escaping slaves in this area, and I'd never heard this before. I don't honestly know that much about Canadian history, so, but in the epilogue at the end of the book, the author says that he feels like there's a closeness in understanding and outlook between Black people and Indigenous people in his experience, which is really intriguing to me. And so I was then left wondering if that part of the book was creative license or based in a lot of historical fact. I'll have to look it up because the book doesn't really tell me. So I was drawn to this one because it's about a part of Canadian history that we don't see that much in fiction. And I think there's so many interesting stories here and perspectives and things that we just don't know. So it's ripe for having a lot of books written about this time period. I think some people really love this, and I like that it's sort of whetted my appetite to learn more. But I think this one was just a little bit too slowly paced for me, and the characters were really flat. So I'm not going to recommend it to all of you, but if you think it sounds intriguing, then you should check it out. And I want to, of course, thank Penguin Random House Canada, because they sent me the copy of this book for me to review and share with you guys. Thanks for watching. You can check out some of my other videos. I also have another channel and socials, so you can find links below if you want more of that. And if you want to hang out again, remember to like and subscribe. And you can always leave a comment, let me know what you thought, or let me know what else you might want to see. Thank you.